Hey there YouTube, it's your girl Zarochi. Today you'll notice I have a slightly different instrument in front of me, and that's because we've got a lesson video. Before we begin, if you can hit like and subscribe, that's going to help my content reach more people, and it's going to help me spread knowledge, which I think is very important. Speaking of knowledge, I do teach private lessons over Discord, so if you want to learn anything about guitar or mandolin or music production or anything else you've seen me do on my channel, check out the description for how you can set up a lesson with me. On to today's subject matter. We're going to be talking about time. Now, I think time is the most important thing in music. You can play the right notes or you can play the wrong notes, but if it's out of time with the band, it's just not going to sound good. Let's take a look at how we denote time. We've got two numbers, one on the top and one on the bottom. The number on the top is going to signify how many beats there are per measure. So that's going to be this guy. The number on bottom is going to signify what notes represent those beats. Generally, you'll see a 4 on the bottom, which represents quarter notes. But you might also see a 2, which represents half notes, or an 8, which represents eighth notes. There's another important concept here that we need to talk about, and that's going to be beats per minute. This is how many of that guy you're going to hear per minute while the song is playing. This tells you how fast you should play a piece. Normally you're going to see something like 120, which is pretty common for some faster music, but if you're talking like metal music, you might start to see numbers in the like 190s or 200 mark, and that's when it gets really fun. Now let's talk about why I avoided some specific terminology there. You probably expected me to say numerator and denominator because this looks kind of like a fraction. Please don't do that. It's just going to confuse people. These have nothing to do with math, there's no division or anything like that, so just don't. Now that we know how to read a time signature, let's look at how they can impact our music. The very first one I want to look at is going to be 1/4, and that's going to be 1 quarter note beat per measure. This time signature doesn't show up very often unless a song is starting on an offbeat like an Irish jig or something like that, but I think it's helpful for understanding the concept. If we have a 1/4 beat, it's going to sound something like this. It sounds pretty flat, right? There's not really a lot of character to that beat. That leads us into our next concept, which is going to be stressed beats. So when you're talking about time signature, you'll have a situation where a drummer might hit something hard or soft. That hard beat is going to be called a stressed beat. When we're talking about rock music or metal music or anything with a drum kit, that's going to be where a drummer is hitting a snare drum or a kick drum, something that really drives it home and really makes you understand that that beat happened there. Now that we understand the difference between stressed beats and not stressed beats, let's take a look at 2/4 time. Now, I wouldn't say that this is a super common time signature either, but I think it's really helpful for understanding the concept. We have 2 quarter notes in 2/4 time, so we can choose if we want to stress on the 1 or if we want to stress on the 2. In general, you're going to see people stressing on the 1, so it's going to sound something like this. Simple, right? Cool. Let's build on that concept and move a little bit further. So I want to take a look at 4/4 time next, which is going to sound a lot like 2/4 time, which is really why a lot of people don't use 2/4 very often. When we have 4/4 time, we have a little bit more freedom of expression. We can stress on the 1 and the 3, which is pretty common in classical music, or on the 2 and the 4, which is more common in rock music. So let's look at that first example here where we stress on the 1 and the 3. It's going to sound almost exactly like that 2/4 example I just had for you. Pretty cool, right? Let's take a look at what it sounds like if I stress on the 2 and the 4. Pretty cool. You'll notice a lot of times artists at rock concerts get people to clap. This is going to be on the 2 and the 4, not on the 1 and the 3, and that's again because a lot of rock music stresses on the 2 and on the 4. We can also move our stresses around a little bit inside of this, but in general that means we're probably going to be moving to a different time signature. The next time signature I'd like to talk about is 3/4 time. Now, 3/4 time is commonly used in waltzes. It has a very specific feel to it, and because of this, we don't really have a lot of freedom of expression like we do with some of the other time signatures. When we have something in 3/4 time, we're going to stress the first beat and not the next two beats. So we're going to have something that sounds like this. You'll notice it has a very specific feel to it. While we're on the subject of 3/4 time, I'd like to talk about a time signature that's very similar, called 6/8 time. Now, this is what we call a compound time signature, and it kind of breaks some of the rules that we've talked about so far. The first thing that's going to be odd about it is we're not actually measuring the beats on the quarter note like we would with most of the normal time signatures, which means that each time we have a beat, we've got 3/8 notes. It creates a very specific feel to it, but it can be kind of hard to recognize the difference between 6/8 and 3/4, and that's because the stresses are going to be in the same spots. A 6/8 beat is going to sound something like this. You'll notice that sounds exactly the same. But while we're talking about freedom of expression and how we're noting things, you can really note anything you want in 4/4 time if you get creative enough. So we use things like 6/8 to signify stuff like when the drums start and stop, where guitar riffs start and stop, how fast something is supposed to be. So taking a look at 6/8 can really be helpful in those regards. One of my favorite bands, Lamb of God, plays the song Laid to Rest in 6/8, and it's got a very specific feel to it because of that. Now that we understand more about time signatures, let's take a look at 5/4 time. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated, but I prefer to look at it as an addition between 3/4 time and 2/4 time. What's cool about this one is we can move the stress around a little bit. So we can stress the first beat and the third beat, and it's going to sound something like this. Cool, right? But we can also stress the first beat and the fourth beat to create a different feel. So it's going to sound something like this. You'll notice that sounds a little bit different. Very, very cool, right? On to the last time signature of this video, which is going to be 7/4 time. This is going to be another combination of two time signatures, 4/4 and 3/4. That means that we can move those stresses around a little bit. So we can stress the first beat, the third beat, and the fifth beat, and it'll sound something like this. Very cool, right? It has a unique and distinct feel to it. Now, the other way we can stress this is on the 1, the 4, and the 6. And that's going to create a totally different feel to it. It's going to sound something like this. So we can play with moving those stresses around, and we create different feels for our song based on how we want to stress our beats. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching this whole video. Honestly, I hope you learned a lot, and I hope that this was really informative. Don't forget that I've got private lessons available in the video description, and until next time, stay heavy, my friends.